Access TV and Fight Network are partnering with Invicta FC. Invicta FC is this unbelievable MMA organization focusing just on women fighters. Really innovative. It's really rising. Just so many talented female fighters are on the shows, and Access TV and Fight Network are now going to be showing them Wednesday, July 20th at midnight Eastern time, 9 p.m. Pacific time. They're going to have Invicta FC 48. And joining us is one of the fighters. She trains at American Top Team in South Florida, the main facility in Coconut Creek. She comes all the way from Holland. Isis Verbeek, thank you so much. Tell us, first of all, what it's like to be a part of Invicta FC.
It's great, and I'm really glad that I have the opportunity to fight for them. So yeah, I really appreciate Invicta for helping me and getting me fight.
How did you get this opportunity?
Shannon reached out to one of my coaches about me. So yeah, that way.
What were your thoughts when you first were told about Invicta being a part of the show? And did you know much about them before you knew you were going to be part of the show?
A funny thing, I was signed with Invicta before. Like a few years ago, I signed with Invicta, but like I didn't know anything about MMA. So I did one fight for them, but without knowledge about ground or things. But when they reached out again, I was like, yeah, that's nice because I like Shannon and I like the Invicta group. So yeah, I was happy.
What are your thoughts about a company just focusing on female fighters?
I think this is great because like I always think like females are getting behind guys, and this show is only about females. So the girls are in the spotlight, and I think that's a great show. That's great for the girls.
Now, for you coming up at this event, how are you preparing for this? Where are you now? Are you already there, or are you still in South Florida? I don't know. Behind you, it doesn't look so sunny, so I don't know.
No, I'm already in Denver. So I'm already here, but yeah, my preparing was good. Like I train always, but when you have a fight coming up, you always give a little bit more. But yeah, I had a great camp and I can't complain.
How is the climate factor for you coming from Holland? What is the climate like there? And now you're in very humid South Florida, and in Denver, very high altitude.
Yes, I love Florida. I love the weather. I love the sun. I love training in hot weather too. And Denver, it feels good. To be honest, it feels good. Yeah.
Now, with this upcoming event, it'll be another big event that Invicta will be organizing. When you're on an event like this, what are all the other things that you have to do, such as media and just different things to try to build up the company?
Yeah, you have to, yeah, how do you say that? Put yourself in a picture, like hyping yourself up and yeah, that's just hyping yourself up, making yourself that they see you, that they hear about you, that they know you, and focusing on the fight.
Isis, when you were just starting with combat sports, kickboxing, MMA, that is so important, just putting yourself out there and branding. But when you're first starting, do you realize that, or you don't realize that until actually you start competing and trying to go higher and higher up the ladder?
When I first started, I didn't think about that, but I was very young. So, but when I started to getting older and starting to fighting on a higher level, you just figured out how important social media and all this stuff is. So yeah, how more do you say that? How higher I came, like in the sport, how more I just saw that like that's a very important thing that you have to work on besides training and fighting. Yeah.
With the training and fighting, and this, all fights are important, obviously. But how do you rank this fight, especially since it's going to be on Access TV and Fight Networks? They're combining and partnering with Invicta.
To be honest, like it is a great, how do you say that? I feel like for me, every fight is the same. If I fight in a backyard or I fight in a small gym or I fight in a big event like now, for me, every fight is just as important as all the other fights. That's how I see it.
Now, wait a second. Have you fought in any backyards? Have you been fighting in backyards? What's going on when you were younger? What's going on here?
No, yeah, I did with my brothers, but I mean, like, even if it was like that, like that's for me just important as this fight. So,
Isis, how did you find your way to American Top Team? That seems like a far way where you're in Holland and then coming to, I mean, the premier training center in the world.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I came there and I saw like all these famous fighters like Amanda Nunes, Masvidal, yeah, so many people there. Like, that's crazy. Like, those people I saw on TV, and I was like, damn. And now I'm training with all these guys. Like, that's a dream.
Who have been training you now? Who are the coaches that have been working with you? And I guess who sparred with you to get you ready for this fight?
I train with Michael Bob and King Mo. And yes, I love King Mo. I train with Paraumpa. Is one of my coaches too. Yeah. And yeah, sparring. I spar with a lot of different people, to be honest. Like, whoever is in the gym on sparring days, and yeah, we do a lot of rounds, so I get different people to spar with.
What was it like making the transition? Because you were in Glory Kickboxing, yes?
Yeah.
Making the transition from Glory Kickboxing to MMA.
It's way different. MMA is a way different fighting style than just kickboxing because everything changed. Your standing changed. Your throwing your hands change. Ground is something that you have to learn because that's also allowed to do. So, like, my whole fighting changed, to be honest.
How comfortable are you now in an MMA fight?
I feel good. I feel comfortable. Yeah. Of course, like, I think you always can learn something. You're never done with learning stuff. So yeah, I'm new in it, but I feel comfortable.
When did you join American Top Team?
I joined American Top Team like 1 year and 3 months ago.
Before that, where were you? Where were you training?
Nowhere. I just was in the Netherlands and I was just working. I lost my motivation. I didn't want to do kickboxing anymore. And yeah, I just, to be honest, started MMA like 1 year and 3 months ago.
That's amazing, Isis. What made what made you decide I'm going to do this? I'm going to go to, I mean, who contacts you, or how do you get contacted to even go to South Florida, an American Top Team, to do all that and get that drive and that passion to give it a try?
I have like Georgino Rosenstrike. He is in the UFC. I am with him since I'm a little, like, since I think 15. And he already moved to Miami and was training here and was fighting in the UFC. And he and Mike were calling me every day, like, Isis, you have to come over here and you have to start training again and fight. Like, what you're doing in the Netherlands, stop, just come here. There's an opportunity you will never get again, you know? And I was working every day and I was like, one day I was like, damn, what am I doing? Like, I have the opportunity to do what I love. And I was like, okay, I have to try this. I have to try to see what I can get out of it before, like, later. So I don't say like, oh, I should have done it. Yeah.
What were you doing in the Netherlands when you weren't fighting? You were what kind of job were you doing? What was happening?
I was a manager by night, so I had a good job, and it was still with sports. But like, nah, I was like working. I have nothing against working, but like, if I have to choose working or just training and fighting, like that's work too. But yeah, I want to do that.
That's a different kind of work. You're putting yourself
Yeah,
out there. You're the one actually doing it. So it is a lot different.
exactly.
What
Yeah,
is
that's why.
what does family think of you coming over here to America, South Florida, training American Top Team, and then fighting for Invicta?
My family is so proud of me. Like they see me working hard and let everything there, like my family, my friends, and working my ass off every day. I think my father has never been so proud of me as he is now, because this is what he wanted already years ago. Like me, just focusing only on training and yeah, working my ass off.
Well, it seems interesting too, because when you're back in the Netherlands and in Holland, was the training there different? Was the routine different? How big is MMA, even big or trying to get big in that country?
It's getting bigger now. Like MMA is getting popular, but yeah, training there is way different. Like the level, like kickboxing is the best in the Netherlands, but like grounds is the level is way different with the ground game in America. And I think I have too much restrictions in the Netherlands, like family that yeah, asking me things, friends, and like it's easier to say like, oh, yeah, I let this training, I do it later or I do it tomorrow. Like here, I skip no training at all. So yeah, that's
110% focus is just on the training and the fighting. And that's something
exactly.
which is something it's hard to do when you're there at home and there. Did you play other sports? Were you competitive when you were young?
I did judo when I was really young, from 5 till 10, and then yeah, tried some other sports, but there was nothing for me. And when I was 11, I started with kickboxing, and I never stopped.
Okay, so now how good of a kickboxer were you as a teenager?
I don't like to talk about
Oh,
myself, but
come on. I don't know. I don't need history. That's okay. You're not bragging. But listen, you're not bragging if it's true. If it's true, you're not bragging.
I think I did a pretty good job.
Oh, you were very good then. I think you were very good at the kickboxing. It's interesting because kickboxing for a while was on ESPN. You could see it. It was very big. I mean,
Yeah.
at one time, kickboxing was bigger than MMA. MMA was still trying to grow. Now
Coming
MMA,
up, yes.
I know MMA has just surpassed a whole lot there and all. When you were involved in kickboxing, how good was kickboxing, or how popular was it when you started to get to the professional level?
Yeah, kickboxing was really popular. Like there was what, like you said, like there was a big thing. Like you had all the big events, you had the great fighters. Yeah, it was really big and popular. But like now, kickboxing is going down and MMA is going up. Like you say, like MMA is just that's just the thing. That's it.
Isis, why did you lose your passion for kickboxing and competing? Because you then went to work.
I think there's a few things like I didn't get really fights, and I did it for such a long time that like yeah, I just
Burned
I
out?
just I just didn't have the feeling anymore. Like my last kickboxing fight, I was like in the ring and middle in the middle of my fight, I was like, what am I doing here? Like I didn't have like the fire anymore. I didn't have like I just lost my fun in it.
The passion, the fun, the fire, it just
Yeah,
all of a sudden that was it for you. But
yeah,
now you have a new fire, a new passion with
yeah.
MMA.
I love it.
who's going to be with you for your Invicta fight?
Michael Buff is going to be with me.
It's interesting because when you're having events like this and shows like this, there are more eyes on you now. So,
I know.
and you try not to think about that because you want to just focus on your fight. But getting a victory at this event, this will be a huge deal for you. Why? How do you feel about that, and where that might take you next?
Yeah, I just wanna do a good fight, win my fight, and like God brings me where I have to be. Like that's how I see it. Like I have no worries, I have patience, and everything will fall together like it should have been. Yeah. So.
And Isis, you mentioned judo when you were little, when you were really young and all.
But I was really young, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious because with judo too, you can go to the Olympics. So even at a young age, was that even something for you to think about? Like, hey, maybe someday I can get the Olympics, or you were too young to even think about that?
I was too young about thinking about that, I guess. Like I was enjoying it, I know that. And because I was with my brothers and my sisters, like my nephews, everybody was like training together. So it was fun, but I didn't think about it like that, no.
Do any of the other brothers, sisters, or cousins fight?
Everybody stopped. When my sister stopped with judo, everybody stopped. Like, and my brothers, they did some kickboxing, but not like on a high level. I'm just the only one who, do it.
All right, so a couple more questions and we'll be done. I'm curious about the neck tattoo. Why the neck tattoo? With any meaning for it? How long did it take? And how badass is that for a person to get a neck tattoo? I don't know.
You know how it came in my head? I was doing my cut weight for my fight, and you have this filter on Snapchat, like it gives you a face tattoos and on your neck, and that one gave me the tattoo on my neck, and I was like, damn, this looks really good, man. I want that. So then after a few weeks after the fight, I went back to Holland and I was like texting my tattoo guy, like, man, you have to make a design for me for my neck because, I want this shit. So then when I went back, he did it. It took like 3 hours or something.
That's amazing.
It's Snapchat's fault, but I love it.
Okay, so we'll wrap this up. Big event coming up with Invicta FC 48. You're going to be fighting on there. This will be awesome. Representing yourself, American Top Team. You're representing Invicta. I'm curious because you mentioned King Mo, one of your coaches. Now, there's Dan Lambert, one of the founders for American Top Team. There's King Mo.
Yes.
There's Paige Van Zandt. There's Junior Dos Santos. I'm probably not going to get every name in, but they all have something in common, Isis. It's professional wrestling. They all love professional wrestling. They've been on TV. They're doing it. And I'm curious, Isis, what if Dan Lambert comes to you and say, Isis, you got to get on the plane with me. We got to go to Dallas. You're getting on the show. We got to go to AEW.
I'll say, Dan, I love you, man. Let's go. 100%.
Hey, Isis, did they have professional wrestling in Holland? Was that a big thing there?
Not at all.
Different type of sport, entertainment. And I mean, is that something that we're seeing more and more fighters trying some of that? Do you think that's just the way it is these days? More and more fighters are doing other things?
Yeah, I think like a lot of fighters doing like different things now. Like they just don't do one thing. They try like to do more things. And I think that's a good thing because, when you have no fight or you have something, you still have something else to do and you still make money. Because at the end of the day, the money is important too because you're training your ass off, but you have to pay bills and you have to live too.
Well, geez, between what y'all are doing in Invicta, but then you have all the other groups that are out there, including like a PFL with Kayla Harrison,
Yes.
two-time champion training at your gym. And then you have bare knuckle fighting, which Paige Van
Yes.
Zandt is getting involved in that. Are these other companies and other styles of fighting that you might be interested in trying someday as well?
Bare knuckle, 100% sure. I did like the bare knuckle MMA. I love that. And the bare knuckle boxing, yeah. Like, I'm down for whatever.
Well, Isis, thank you so much for the time. Do you have social media for fans?
Yes. My Instagram is Isis Verbeek. And my my Facebook is Isis Verbeek too. My Twitter is Isis Verbeek too. And TikTok too. So everything Isis Verbeek.
As well it should be. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Go get him in Invicta
you.
FC 48. It'll be an awesome event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.